Have you ever noticed how aging seems to tell two very different stories? You can meet two people who are both over 80. Same generation. Same decades lived. And yet one looks worn down by time, while the other still carries a quiet strength, a spark that hasn't dimmed. It makes you wonder. What's the difference? Is it genetics? Luck? Or something deeper that builds slowly over a lifetime? The truth is, aging doesn't hit everyone the same way. And after 80, the gap becomes impossible to ignore. Most people begin narrowing their world. Movements slow. Energy becomes precious. Confidence quietly slips away. Life gets smaller. But then there's a very small group, roughly 5%, who seem to move through their later years differently. Not louder. Not flashier. Just steadier. Calmer. More alive. Today, we're talking about 5 things that only about 5% of seniors can still do after 80. These aren't extreme achievements or magazine cover moments. They're subtle abilities that reveal how well the body, mind, and spirit have been preserved. As you listen, you may recognize yourself. Or someone you love. And if you do, pause, because these signs are rarer than most people realize. Let's begin. The first sign shows up in how someone moves through space. Not fast. Not slow. But confident. One of the clearest indicators that someone is aging exceptionally well after 80 is the way they walk. Most seniors move carefully, and understandably so. Balance becomes fragile. Muscles weaken. One fall can change everything. So people adapt by shrinking their steps, gripping furniture, or relying on support. But a rare few still walk as if their body belongs to them. They move through grocery stores without leaning on the cart. They cross parking lots without anxiety, tightening their chest. They walk down sidewalks without constantly watching their feet. This isn't about speed. It's about trust. Trust that the legs will respond. Trust that balance will hold. Trust that the body will cooperate. In aging research, walking ability is one of the strongest predictors of independence. It reflects coordination between the heart, lungs, muscles, nerves, and brain. When someone over 80 still walks confidently, it means those systems are still talking to each other. But there's also something emotional underneath it. They haven't handed control over to fear. They stayed active long enough for movement to remain familiar, not threatening. They kept walking even when it would have been easier to stop. And that choice, repeated quietly over the years, shows up in every step. If you can still move through the world without hesitation, without feeling like the ground might betray you, recognize how rare that is. That's not ordinary aging. That's resilience in motion. The second sign reveals itself when the day finally ends. Sleep. For many seniors, sleep becomes fragmented and frustrating. Light sleep. Frequent waking. Long stretches of lying awake, listening to the clock. People often accept this as inevitable. But it's not universal. A small percentage of seniors over 80 still sleep deeply through the night. They fall asleep without battling their thoughts. They stay asleep without constant interruptions. And they wake up feeling like rest actually happened. This matters more than most people realize. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. Deep sleep supports memory, immune function, emotional regulation, and physical recovery. When sleep is broken night after night, everything else starts to suffer. Seniors who still sleep well often share one thing in common: they protect their evenings. They don't overstimulate themselves late at night. They follow predictable routines. They allow the day to end instead of dragging it into bed. More importantly, they've learned how to let go. They don't lie awake replaying regrets or rehearsing worries. Their nervous system still knows how to downshift. That ability, to surrender to rest, is a sign of deep internal balance. If you wake up feeling restored more often than drained, if sleep still feels like a refuge instead of a struggle, that's a powerful marker of healthy aging. The third sign appears in conversation. Presence. Not perfect memory. Not flawless recall. But the ability to stay mentally engaged. Many seniors experience moments of forgetfulness, and that's normal. But some people over 80 remain sharply present. They follow conversations. Remember what was said earlier in the day. Stay oriented without constant confusion or apology. This kind of clarity isn't accidental. Short-term memory depends on brain regions that tend to shrink with age. But in some individuals, that decline slows dramatically. Why? Because they never stopped using their mind. They stayed socially connected. They stayed curious. They kept learning, reading, discussing, and listening. Instead of withdrawing, they leaned in. Mental sharpness after 80 doesn't come from avoiding mistakes. It comes from staying engaged with life. From resisting the temptation to mentally retreat. And that presence protects more than memory. It protects identity. They still feel like themselves. Still contribute. Still participate. Still matters in conversations, not just as listeners, but as thinkers. If you can still follow ideas, remember details, and stay mentally alert in daily life, that's not something to brush off. That's cognitive resilience, and it's rare. The fourth sign is quieter, but incredibly revealing. Comfort inside the body. As people age, digestion often becomes unpredictable. Constipation, discomfort, bloating, and dependence on medications. It's so common that many people assume it's unavoidable. But for a small group of seniors over 80, digestion still works smoothly and naturally. That's not just convenience. It's a reflection of how well the body's internal systems are still functioning together. Healthy digestion requires muscle tone, nerve signaling, hydration, movement, and balanced gut bacteria. When any of those weaken, problems appear. Seniors who maintain regular, pain-free digestion often live simply. They don't chase extreme diets. They eat familiar foods. Drink enough water. Move their bodies daily. And they listen to what works. This consistency keeps the gut stable. And when digestion works well, quality of life improves quietly but significantly. The body feels lighter. Energy improves. Discomfort fades into the background. If your body still handles digestion without constant effort or intervention, that's a sign of internal harmony that many people lose long before 80. The fifth and final sign may be the most powerful of all. Joy. Not forced positivity. Not polite smiles. But genuine, spontaneous joy. Many people grow emotionally heavier with age. Loss accumulates. The world shrinks. The heart becomes guarded. But a rare group of seniors never fully close themselves off. They still laugh easily. They still find humor in small moments. They still experience delight without needing a reason. This isn't naivete. It's resilience. Emotionally healthy seniors adapt instead of hardening. They forgive. They release what no longer serves them. And because of that, their emotional world remains open. Science supports this, too. Laughter reduces stress hormones, supports immunity, and even increases pain tolerance. But beyond biology, joy keeps life meaningful. Seniors who still laugh freely bring light into rooms. Their presence comforts others. Their energy reassures younger generations that aging doesn't have to mean emotional shutdown. Joy after 80 is not childish. It's courageous. If you still smile easily, laugh out loud, or feel bursts of happiness during ordinary moments, treasure that. It's one of the strongest signs that your spirit is still fully alive. As we come to the end, take a moment to reflect. Out of these 5 signs, confident movement, deep sleep, mental presence, physical comfort, and joy. Which one felt familiar? Which one felt like something you're still working toward? Aging doesn't follow a single script. Everyone's path is different. But when you notice even one of these traits in yourself, it's worth acknowledging. You're not just getting older. You're aging with intention. These abilities don't come from perfection. They come from small choices made consistently over time. Staying engaged. Staying curious. Staying kind to your body and your mind. And even if you don't see all 5 yet, that doesn't mean the door is closed. The body can be strengthened. The mind can sharpen. The spirit can lighten, at any age. Thank you for spending this time with us. If one of these signs stood out to you, share it in the comments. Your experience might encourage someone who needs it more than you realize. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support allows us to keep creating thoughtful, meaningful content. We'll see you in the next video.